My name is Alex, and this is my video out. Yay!
Alex, we've got a string coming out
Oh,
your
no.
beautiful jacket here.
Oh no.
Just got a little snag
Do you
there.
have a scissor?
Yeah.
Do a little... Thanks for noticing. Oh my god, I was walking around looking like a fool. Hi, my name is Alex. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm a non-binary femme. I grew up in Bristol, Rhode Island. I grew up in the smallest state in the United States, Little Rhode Island. And it was a really interesting experience just because both my parents aren't from there. One grew up in Massachusetts, one grew up in New York, and they kind of came together there. And they had myself and my sister. And it was an interesting experience because my house was a really expressive, free house. There weren't really many rules besides just be kind, you know, spread kindness, be nice to people, be honest. My parents really tried to instill like doing good in the world, which I really appreciate. And I was kind of free to express myself however I wanted. However, going out into the town, it was a very much heteronormative, binary system of living, you know, and it was a lot of generations of people who have lived there for a really long time. So there was a lot of societal constructs there, and it wasn't. I made friends, you know, I had a great upbringing, but it wasn't where I could really express myself and have true authenticity in what I wanted to do with my career and who I wanted to be on the everyday. So it became a little stifling. I did face some interesting bullying, you know, as we all do. You know, it was an interesting time. I had a little bit of an issue with eating. I'm actually an emotional eater, so I overeat. And when I was younger, I think because I was figuring out my sexuality, and then my gender identity was deeply rooted in it and felt like an imagination. I think I was eating to compensate for not being able to express myself fully, because externally, at my house it was fine. It was all love, but it was, you know, going out into the world, which is weird because now in New York, like, I just have this bravery that's like, I can do whatever the heck I want. And I'm super appreciative of New York, but I do go back and visit every once in a while. I have great family there and some really great core friends. But yeah, I'm really thankful to not be living there because it's not really the creative environment where people can really flourish and express themselves, you know? I moved to New York 6 years ago, so I am almost a true New Yorker. I moved here for school and then quickly was not into school, but it was the perfect vehicle to move to a new place. You know, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and thankfully my school gave me a lot of scholarship money, so it gave me the opportunity to move to New York, and I really like sunk my teeth in. I really wanted to do A&R, basically, which is artist and repertoire. It's finding talent and working with them to develop records, signing them to record labels. And my goal was to really give a platform for LGBTQIA+ artists to break into mainstream music, which is a really, really hard thing for them because the music industry is so binary and really, really behind. There are certain artists like Troye Sivan that I'm really surprised that are having this moment just because I've been on the inside and it's not very accepting. Since then, in pursuing business music, you know, it's really pushed me to want to pursue my own music. Growing up, I was a theater kid and always loved to perform. So it's interesting how when you move to a place, you go with a mindset of what you want to pursue, aka for me, business, and then all of a sudden it flips and it's like, no, I actually want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be behind it, which is something I've always loved, I think. So it's cool how New York really pushes you to do what you actually want to do and doesn't really give you the option. Like, it's like, you actually want to do this, I know it, so you're going to do it regardless of if you pursue it or not. My best friend, who's also my roommate, my childhood best friend actually, we moved together from our neighborhood. We created a record called Dot Wave, and we are known as Vague. Yeah, Vague! Yeah, tune in. We're going to have a launch very, very soon. We've been working on the record for 3 years. It's written by myself and my best friend Josh, and basically we were described as, by our sound engineer, flirtatious, whimsical aliens. And basically the process of Vague is not us, it's a mindset. You know, it's an armor you put on and you feel your most strong, you feel your most sleek, and you're free to express yourself and really give performance, you know. We feel in music, it's a little too polished and a little too like overthought, and there's like a lack of authenticity and showpersonship, I should say. And it's just something that's lacking, and we want to give it. Oh, I got like 4 or 5 moments for you. I knew I was gay before I could even think of anything because people were making fun of me. And it was like, you're this, you're gay, you're that. A lot of people, because I was a heavyset child, I had really long hair, confused me as a woman, and they would like call me girl. Little did they know I loved it. But I kind of wasn't able to really identify my sexuality because I was made fun of before I could even figure it out. So then I felt like I was like, okay, I guess I am gay. But I didn't really like come out, I didn't really, because of the way I was being treated, I was like, y'all don't deserve to know what I'm doing and my truth and who I am. So I did my own thing. I didn't really date a lot, and there wasn't really a lot of pickings. So there was that, but then it was really coming to like terms of music and how music can help me express myself. And I got the Emancipation of Mimi by Mariah Carey record, and the sensuality and the sexuality and the femme power that's in that record really unlocked something in me as a kid. And I just remember like dancing to like Say Something in my room and just really understanding how to touch myself and how to feel, and I had this femme power in me. And it was just kind of crazy because it was something I always like harnessed, but I didn't understand. It wasn't until moving to New York that I realized, oh, there are other people out there who feel this way and actually like show it. I didn't think it was a possibility to show it. I thought like I had to just like live it and I would just be a gay man, which I'm not. When I moved to New York, I ended up losing a lot of weight, thankfully healthily, very much. Diet, exercise, it was just a choice. And once I had this body that I never knew I had, I was suddenly like, wow, my mind's eye of like who I am, like I feel comfortable enough to pull it to the forefront. I felt, being a plus size person, you can't really like try on like female clothing, like because of sizing and like all these restrictions that we put on things by society. So when I had this advantage now to try and experiment and wear really sexy dresses and express this sexuality of me that like was more than just being gay, it was about like being fierce and being sensual, like it really opened up. So I felt like I've had like 4 to 5 coming outs, and we'll probably have 6 to 7 more by the time I turn 60, because like our lives are fluid and we're all like growing and changing, and like we are built with innate like loves and spirits, but I feel like a lot of our lives are molded by the experiences and the people that we face. And I mean, I'm hoping to live a long, prosperous life, meeting a lot of beautiful people and like learning from people, and if that influences where I turn, I'm super excited, so I'll probably come out more than 4 times. I'll come out 7 more. When I came out with my sexuality, it was my 2 best friends at the time in high school. There was this person in high school who told me that they liked me, and it was the first person who ever told me that they liked me, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So I called them and I was like, hey, this person's a man, I think I like them, like I want to go for it. And they were just like, they were like, yeah, do it, and that was kind of my first like sexuality. But gender, it was my best friend Josh, who I write music with. Like growing up, we were always very femme. When we would play imagination games, our characters were always more femme focused. We always loved like femme energy, femme video game characters. There was so much of that. And I just remember like one of our friends got like a pair of cute booties, and I was like, oh, I want to wear booties, like I want a little heel. And then my roommate was like, Josh was like, yeah, you should do it, Alex, because he knows me, he gets me. And it was just kind of like my roommate, when I would say I wanted to do things, he would be like, yeah, do it, and then we would do it, and then he would kind of keep pushing me. And it was a subtle like, this is what I want, and him being my family basically like pushing me into it little by little. So that was kind of like my first of identity. And then I just remember being like one day sitting there, I just was like, I don't feel like a boy, like, and I'm tired of like people assuming that. Like, I'm just tired of it because I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And that's one thing that I've really learned is that presentation does not equal identity. And how you feel on the inside and how you identify is the most important thing. And non-binary people do not owe androgyny. They do not owe this gender queer drama look. Like, they can give you whatever they want. And that's the beautiful thing about being a non-binary femme for me personally is I'll always give you some femme energy, but, you know, it's all in my DNA and my being. And I'm really thankful for the people who were in those situations who are really respectful and like helped me push it forward, you know. Solidarity and community.
We should all have a roommate.
Yes.
/ family member.
I love you, Josh. You're my friggin' family, my twin. Oh my God, the most pressing issue is that trans women of color are being killed. That's honestly it. Like, trans people of color, trans women are being killed because of who they are and presenting. And the fact that it is showing up as a norm, the fact that it is showing up as something that's not being changed, the fact that there's an entire group of community who don't care to change it and are just going to continue to push on with hate. That is the biggest thing, is that people are dying. That's just really fucked up. And I think that it has to do with so much internalized anger, internalized pressure, and internalized homophobia, transphobia that the cis hetero community really cannot fathom. And they don't know how to process it. And I think when they see someone living so authentically and so free and so like fuck the world, it makes them angry because they can't do it because they don't have the courage. And so it's about diving into those conversations and like really, I don't know how do you make people stop killing people? Like, take guns away. Maybe. Create more safety, you know, like a police force should be working for the people, and that includes everybody. You can't pick and choose who you want to protect. If we want to be America, land of the free, home of the brave, like, let's actually like walk the walk. So honestly, people are dying, that is the biggest issue that needs to be addressed yesterday. Yeah, life is all about exposure, and I feel, especially in our modern day society, like, we try to hide exposing things. Like, it's so put it in the box, and like, when you're not exposed to certain experiences, you're not like, you become way more ignorant, and you become way more, for lack of a better word, uneducated. And we unfortunately, in the United States, I feel like we hide education from people, you know, like we pick and choose who gets it. And living in New York, what I've realized is super privileged, because you have access to a lot of education, not just in school systems, but on the street, you know, with people you meet, with the opportunities, with the kind of things that happen here. And I just traveled back from Charleston, South Carolina, and it was a beautiful experience because I worked with this organization called We Are Family, which is an LGBTQ organization that creates family-oriented things for people who are being kicked out of their houses. And it just was really a mind-opening that, like, moving to New York, I was exposed to more educational resources about LGBTQ plus IA identities, sexualities, community, everything like that. And in Charleston and like other places, they just don't have access to that, and it's unfair. You know, it's unfair to those people to not be able to see themselves, not be able to be themselves, or not be able to hear their own community speak to them. They have to be so focused on such a binary system, and it's really unfortunate, honestly. But we gotta work to fix it. What gives me the most hope is that in the past year, personally for me, and I'm privileged because I live in New York, but I have came in contact with so many beautiful, smart, inspiring, groundbreaking LGBTQ plus oriented people, and my life feels fuller because that is who I turn to, that is who I call, and that is a community and a friend group and a family that I've always wanted. And I think that we have the power to push outside of major metropolitan areas where our community feels safer by connecting with more and more people and using the power of the internet to just keep being visible and, you know, keep taking up space where our spaces do, and just really creating community. Honestly, community is the biggest thing. When you realize that there's a whole group that you can join into, it makes you feel less small, and it makes you feel a part of something. And that, as humans, all we want to do is feel a part of something. No one wants to feel alone. So I think that's my biggest hope, is just seeing this community build and hoping it to build bigger and stronger, which it definitely is. Oh my God. My favorite part about being me is shocking myself. I don't know. It's like I have these, especially with how brave I'm, to toot my horn, how brave I am sometimes in my presentation and the things that I choose to put on my body because it makes me feel good, and honestly, the look concepts I come up with, like, that's my most fun. I guess, okay, let me rephrase it. My favorite part about being me is having the most fun with it. You know, I like to make people laugh. I like to make people smile. And like the fact that I make myself laugh and I make myself smile and I know someone else is doing it, like that means the world to me. So honestly, it's the freedom to have fun. Like that's my favorite part about being me, is I just love to have a good time. And like it can range from chilling and having a coffee to out and about till 4 a.m., you know, but that's my favorite part about being me, is having a good time and having fun. Oh my god, I go everywhere!
Where are
So I hosted the Dreamland party that Frankie Sharp runs at PhD over the summer. It was a daytime party. I unfortunately haven't been hosting it, but hopefully getting back into it because I miss them. But I go there, I go to Bossa Nova, $3 Bill, Mood Ring, I've been going to Club 444, the Spectrum, RIP the Spectrum, and just like parties, you know, like queer collectives, like Poppy Juice, Bubble Tea, Club Glam, Raga, you know, and just like really putting myself with where the community's hanging out, which is so fun. Nightlife has always been a safe space for queer people. You know, when the sun goes down, like, the freaks come out to play, but like, it's the people who don't feel safe during the day come out, you know, and like, that's kind of like the coolest thing about the LGBTQ community, you know. Not everybody is like that, but you know, you see these people just like lurk out into the night, and it's just beauty and glamour, and like it's just a whole different like world, and it probably feels safer. You know, I felt safer going out at night, weirdly, than going out during the day, but yeah, I love that. I love it. It's so glamorous. I've gone into so many situations where I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? What do I do? I don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel this. I'm like in a look. Everyone's not. And all I just did was I was like, oh my god, hey, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. You know, and it's just like, it made me feel less uncomfortable because I was realizing other people were feeling less uncomfortable. And then it just kind of made friends, you know, and you impact people, and you never know that we actually have every person on this earth has way more impact than we think we do. You know, we think impact is just like celebrities or like artists or like grandiose football players or something, but it's the day-to-day, you know? It's the coffee shop person who's like really nice to you that morning or compliments you, or like when you're on the subway platform and someone like notices you drop your credit card, like those are way more impactful to me than like a celebrity being like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, you know? It's like, that's humanity interacting and being good people, and like that's what we need to do to become a better world, is be humane, you know? If you are nervous in a situation, going into a place where you don't feel comfortable and you're unsure, say hi to everybody with the biggest smile you can. Literally, say hi to everyone, hug everyone, lead with love, and if you're not getting love in return, you know, don't talk to that person, but if you lead with love, people respond to that. And if they don't, you know not to associate with that person. But I would guarantee you 7 times out of 10, you'll get a really big hug and a really great smile back. And as long as you start by being the better person and realizing you're in an adverse space because you're not presenting or living a normal existence, if you lead with that love and you lead with positivity, I guarantee you will change people's minds and change people's hearts. So lead with love, give a big hug, and a big smile. Honestly, that's it. Nightlife's the best. I love nightlife.